How's it going, critter people? Let's make sure this is recording this time, because I was talking forever a little while ago and it was not recording. So, this is Shannon Walker, the pack leader. In her own words, I disagree with that. Dogs are not pack animals. You are not alpha. You're not anything. You're just a human and they are a dog. If you would like to see reasons why I say that and why I believe what I do and try to support that, the scientific fact that dogs are not pack animals and that we are not alpha or anything like that, I'll leave a video and link in the description below to a video I've made on the alpha theory or the pack theory, whatever it's called, whatever I named it, and that will show you the sources I used and go in depth as to why these things are or are not, why dogs are not pack animals. So, she says the simplest way to get your dog to wear a collar, we're going to go into this little video, being used under Fair Use Act for education, criticism, giving my personal point of view, trying to give the dog a voice. And even though I say that, and I'm kind of harsh with people, I do not mean anything personal against her, nor do I wish anybody to send her any kind of hate, mean, nasty comments, go to her people and send her anything. Please just leave everybody be. If you like her and you support her, terrific, that's totally fine, okay? Let's not get into a fight and get nasty in the comments. Please, everybody, be respectful, as you usually are. So, thank you for that. Let's get started.
Is your dog too wiggly when you're trying to put stuff in his ears or put a collar on him? Watch this video.
That can be something that you can desensitize your dog to if they're sensitive about things going in the ears or, getting a puppy used to a new collar.
He runs away.
Okay, so we got a cute little white fluffy dog here. Looks like maybe a poodle or maybe a doodle of some sort. It's pretty, not very, wide. So I would say it looks more like a poodle, but they got a prong collar on.
And then he barks at us.
So they call it a pinch collar because it sounds nicer than prong collar. I don't like being pinched myself. That's a good way to get me to punch you or to really make me upset is to pinch me. I absolutely do not like it. I have very sensitive skin. Whatever it is, I feel a pinch and it really, really hurts and I do not like it. So if, we know that dogs, if you don't know, dogs do have thinner skin than humans. Each skin level, the dermis, the epidermis, the whatever layers of skin there are, they have 3 to 5 cells thick for each layer. Humans have 12 to 15. So we have thicker skin than they do, and they're very sensitive. So this is all the more uncomfortable or painful.
He's sassy. Yeah, he is. He's protesting.
Okay, so she says it as if it's fact. Without ever even seeing the behavior. If I were this dog, I would protest too, because I don't want this thing on, because it hurts. She says the dog is barking as if it's sassing. It could be, or it could be barking because it's frustrated, because it feels limited, or because it hurts. And she just automatically, you can listen to her language, that she says pinch collar instead of prong collar. Like some people will say a slip collar or a slip chain versus a choke chain. But then she just says, yeah, he's protesting. We'll get over that because she puts accountability on the dog. She says it's a dog problem. She sees it as a dog problem, not a human problem or a prong collar problem. So, hence her name, Pack Theory, or the pack leader, already tells me you're a dummy, you don't know what you're doing. And you see things, you have one track mind. The one tool in your toolbox is a hammer, so you see every problem as a nail, and you solve it as such.
Right out of your way. Okay, thank you. Absolutely. So this is my recommendation. Is that first of all,
going after maybe a fly? It definitely looks like a poodle. Going after a little fly there. She calls herself a professional dog trainer and behavior consultant. I am glad she doesn't say behaviorist because that is fraudulent in the USA to call yourself a behaviorist without an actual background, a minimum of a master's degree in animal science, in animal behavior, and a lot of them have doctorates and such like that. So without, you can't call yourself legally a behaviorist or a veterinary behaviorist in the States. And if you do, people can sue for that because it's like if any of them said, yeah, I'm a doctor, let me help you with this and that, and they're clearly not a doctor. So
I would just say nothing. Don't announce.
Oh, what a good man. See, he should loosen up the leash right now. He doesn't realize what he's doing is causing pressure and causing the dog to ignore the tension on the leash. If he wanted to teach the dog to give into pressure more softly, which is really kind of how this collar is designed, that when something pulls into it, it tightens, causes pain or discomfort, and then when they back off of it, then it loosens and it's not painful anymore. But he doesn't realize what he's doing is causing tension, so he's kind of locked it up in his hands. He has what I would say are, kind of loud hands, not necessarily loud that they're moving a lot, but he doesn't realize pressure and release, that this dog sat on his own. Didn't have to be prompted. I would certainly recommend at that point that they loosen the leash to reward the dog for that, as well as, if the dog was on a regular collar too, or a harness, I'd be saying the same exact thing. And then you can even give them a little reward or treat. If you didn't want to do the treat, then you could just do releasing the pressure on the collar. And this would teach the dog to give into pressure more easily and to be softer. But, he's like this, just like if people are riding a horse and they constantly are on the bit, where they constantly have tension on the reins that lead to the bit in the horse's mouth, or even on the halter if you ride in a halter, then the horse, and in this case the dog, learns to ignore that signal or that bit of communication, because the leash can be communication if you teach it that way. Otherwise, then it's not just communication by the leash. There's a lot of body language that goes into it. Sorry, we're 46 seconds in, and I've probably been going on for 10 minutes already, but these are just things to look at, that, in short, loosen your leash, especially when he sits down, or when he's not actively pulling, and he will learn that, when I'm move into this pressure, it goes away. But he's teaching him to ignore that now, hence why he pulls.
We're going to walk this way. If you want to walk this way, we're going to just walk forward this way.
Right there. So he dropped it for a split second, and then he immediately takes in that slack, and she's ready to grab it too. Because apparently everybody thinks that they have to have their dog walk right next to them. Because of people like this, they like to burn that into our brains, that this is the only way to walk a dog. That yes, it'll be on a loose leash, Jay, but the dog is still really relatively in the heel position, which I just think is a bunch of malarkey.
So we're out of the way.
So he's still moving, pulling on the... Okay, he's loose now. Very good.
Right
so that
here,
you could be rewarding him.
Don't leave me yet. We didn't pay. Come right over.
Yeah, she's laughing. Of course she's worried about money. I mean, shoot, I'm worried about money too, but that's just... I don't like that. You can kind of tell the totality of everything, the kind of personality she has.
Okay. So, what I was going to say is this.
So again, kind of dragging the dog...
When you
dragging him forward, doesn't see to pay attention. The dog was on this side. The dog can go on this side. Doesn't have to be on the left side.
Collar to put it on him, or even the collar, any collar. He's protesting because he knows it represents control.
No, he's protesting because he knows it hurts. Dummy, okay? He's smarter than you. Most dogs are smarter than most humans, including my own. Is smarter than I am. This dog protests because it hurts, just like when horses protest having a bit put in their mouth, and people have to stick their finger up into the roof of the horse's mouth, and the very low, they stick their fingernail into the roof of the horse's mouth, or they press on their teeth, or they do something to force them to accept this metal pain bit on the gums and teeth and tongue of their mouth. Just like this dog has metal prongs going into their neck and their throat, where there's the thyroid gland, there's the trachea, there's the esophagus. I'm sure doctors can tell me which one is which, and where. I think the trachea is just right where this is going to be going. I think the esophagus might be a little bit lower down, but nonetheless, this guy protests because he's smart. And, this lady is just dumb.
Okay, it represents control. And
no, it doesn't represent control. It means pain. And yes, he can't get to go where he wants to, but he's still just ignoring this pain right now. This hurts.
We want to, if you're announcing it, we want to get away from the announcement. Okay.
So again, he has something really bothering him. I would also like to point out that if I'm out in the sun and I'm on black pavement, I always make sure to double, triple check. I don't know where they work from. In Washington here, it takes, where I live, it takes a little while for the asphalt to heat up a little bit, because we don't get a lot of sun. When we do, it's not really, really hot. But at 75 degrees, I believe it's 125 degrees with the direct sun on the pavement. So I always use the back of my hand, or use like a bare foot. Okay, so don't just use the front of your hand, because your hands are more used to heat. So I'm always checking to make sure the dogs are comfortable. My goal is keeping the dog comfortable, not the humans necessarily, or not just the humans alone.
Yeah, she's good. Now, so do you have the collar and you bring it and present it, and then he starts doing all that? Okay, that's kind of what I figured. So
and also, sorry, what originally got me on that tangent there was that he's really bugged by something on his tail, on his butt. Maybe there's a little, ant on him that's biting him. Maybe there's a fly. Maybe there's a flea or a tick. And they don't even notice that. Like, I would check and make sure he's comfortable. As the trainer, myself as the trainer or the owner.
Nothing. Go get your leash and wrap it around his little neck. Don't say anything. He's laying on the couch, he's doing everything. Say nothing. You're just walking up like you do all the other times. You're just going to go up, leash him up.
That sounds like an ambush, the way she does it. Ambush, trick him, losing trust with the dog, because now when you go up to him with the leash, he's going to learn, because he's not stupid, woman. He learns that the leash now means prong collar, which equals pain. So instead of just having this now equals pain, this too equals pain. She doesn't realize she's conditioning the dog.
Don't say anything. Put him in a sit.
Oh, nice. She can't even demonstrate a sit without jerking up with both hands of how she teaches a sit, and the way she did that with such force. Let's watch that again.
Now you've got him.
Trap.
Don't say anything. Put him in a sit.
Put him in a sit. Pull up on the collar with both hands to force him into a sit.
Because all you have to do with the leash is pull straight up.
Yeah, sit. How about you use your words and not rely on the leash and force? And this tells the lack of her skills. I'm sure she's probably going to claim she's been doing this for 20, 30, or 50 years. I don't know how old she is. She could be in her mid-50s, mid-60s, I don't know. But she, could have been doing this for a very long time, as I imagine she has, and this is the way she's done it over and over and over and over again. And it's one-trick pony. Win, because she sees it as a power struggle, which means that she has her own personal issues, so she has to take them out on animals that won't fight back or can't fight back. That's why we resort to these tools, because these animals are so much smarter than us egotistical humans with opposable thumbs. We have mommy issues, we have whatever issues, so we take it out on little poor helpless animals. We choose not to learn, even though there's proof and facts right in front of us.
Have to win.
We don't have to win. You do, because it's a personal, I don't know, whatever the personal reason is, but you do. You cannot stand to lose because of an issue with you. The dog is not winning. The dog does not care. The dog is losing all of the time. And every time he wears this stupid prong collar, digging into his throat, he loses. He can't go outside without a human there to open the door. Without humans, dogs would die and cease into extinction.
And the most important thing as you're winning.
Ow. So let's go back there and see. The dog can't even go to try to sniff maybe the fly that was bothering him. Goes from a sit, doesn't give him anything whatsoever. He's been sitting this whole time very nicely. But yeah, the second he gets up, then he goes to pop. The only thing this dog ever gets is correction. So why the hell should he try anything else? He doesn't get rewarded for looking at her nicely, even though she's demonstrating how to do the sit and control and this and that. And you could occasionally be giving him a couple of rewards, and this would keep him going so much longer, and you don't have to rely on this. But watch this.
And the most important
he goes to get up, he's bored, jerk.
Is that you stay calm and assertive.
Calm and assertive. And she's just feeding into whatever idea they're used to, or maybe he's doing this to please her. You want to please them, you want to try and impress them and show them, hey, yeah, because we get that reinforcement from the person. We get that positive reinforcement. Hey, good job, you're doing good job. You're doing good. But the dog doesn't get it.
You can't get frustrated, you can't get angry, you cannot escalate your tone, you cannot show frustration. He will see all that as weakness.
God, you're so full of it, woman. Okay. No, you should not do that, because when doing that, when we act out of emotion, we cause more pain, more fear, whatever, towards whomever we're speaking to, whether it's a human, an adult, a child, a dog, a butterfly, whatever. Okay, so that's why we don't want to get emotional with that. Instead of just trying to be a robot and force our dog to be a robot, how about you learn to try something else? Try a harness. Try to work with your dog from the mental state and not just the physical state. And dogs don't see anything as weakness. The fact that she's spewing this, dogs are not, they don't think like that. They're not hunting predators. You know, where they hunt and they look for those and they develop those as they evolve and stuff because they have to survive.
Okay, so
she didn't think that before. Maybe now she's kind of questioning it.
Negotiate all this. It's just gonna, you're gonna win. You're gonna be calm and you're gonna go do it.
No, that's just stupid. She definitely has control issues.
You get the leash on him and you sit there, sit. He doesn't sit. You just pull up and hold, sit. He puts his little.
No, you don't repeat, dummy. If he doesn't want to sit when you put pressure on him, you haven't taught him to sit, period. Don't worry about ruining the word. Sit. No, you don't do that. And she's talking about negative reinforcement. You lift up until the dog sits, and then you let go. The letting go of the pressure is the dog's reward. And that's going to teach him to hate the leash just as much.
Awesome. Now I'm going to get the pinch collar. It's either in or whatever collar. You're going to get it out of your pocket.
It's a prong collar, not a pinch collar.
Sit. And you go
another pop, another sit if he gets up, because you can't grab anything behind you without him trying to get up and escape from you.
If he starts to jump around, you're going to touch him in the side like I
Oh, Jesus, no. Nope, she's doing the Cesar Millan thing. Very good way to make a dog hand shy and make them bite you. Beckman does that too. So she's worked with them once before, I guess. I don't know. She's worked with them at least earlier than this point.
Earlier? Sit.
Jesus. Just over and over and over again with the correction pop, and it's just force and pain and scaring. And they're going to have... She's creating 10 times more work for these people than if they just used a regular harness or even the prong collar if they want to use it and paired it with a treat. And the dog would say, oh, this means something good. This goes on, it's still uncomfortable, I still don't like it, but it still means something good when it goes on. I get a treat, we get to go out for a walk. But she's creating 10 times more work for them and ruining the bond between these people and this dog.
When everything's calm, go back to putting the collar on. He starts jumping all around, give him a touch in the side.
No.
Disagree with that? Pull up, because right now all you have is jumping all around. Give him a touch in the side to disagree with that.
Disagree with that. She makes it sound so simple. To disagree. No, you're jabbing him in the side to correct him. Because the sit with the leash wasn't enough. You gotta jab him in the ribs or in the side, the soft part of his body right here. Where it's sensitive. Because you're dumb. Because you're dummy. Because you don't know what you're doing. Because you cannot even see what might happen later on. Because you don't realize you're conditioning the dog. She doesn't know what she doesn't know. And yet she's over here spewing this nonsense to people, paying her money for it.
Pull up, because right now all you have is the leash is wrapped around his neck. So you're going to pull up.
You're really going to go through all this work?
All you have to do to win is outlast him by 1 second.
Okay. So it is better, though, to unhook his pinch collar and hook it around rather than sliding.
It's the only way for...
I see why the dog doesn't like it, because I did that with Adonis, because I couldn't unhook it. Yes, of course, sliding it over his face is going to scratch his face and his eyes and his nose and his mouth and get caught in there and pull on his ears and his hair. No wonder he doesn't like it. But now they're going to struggle with it, going under him and trying to clip that thing back together and this and that. Just go with a regular martingale without the chain, like cloth martingale or a harness.
To work effectively. You've got to do it that way. Otherwise, it's not fitted properly and it's ineffective.
Right now, it's not fitted properly. It's too loose. The collar should sit up here high and snug, as people say, behind the head, because then it's not pulling so much on his trachea. I don't recommend it anyway, but at least I know. I don't use them and I don't condone them. And I'm glad they're getting banned in certain countries. But even I know how to fit one better than this.
And you'll have what you brought me. Okay. Well, you already see that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a common...
I don't know what they brought him in.
So, anyway, but if you're going to make a mistake, at least that one doesn't hurt him. You know? Again, he's never left unsupervised, never tied out, never played...
Which one doesn't hurt him? The prong collar? Because that hurts. Any collar can hurt. Any collar can kill a dog.
With another dog with it on, right? But does that answer your question about he's going to run away? Well, first of all, don't announce it. Yeah.
No, sneak up. Lose his trust. Now, anytime you try to sneak up on him, he's going to see that coming and he's going to run. And then what are you going to do? You're going to have to teach him to corner him and do all this and that other nonsense. Just so ridiculous.
You know? And the thing is that, and I'm not a cookie trainer, like...
Yeah, no shit.
You know, I don't use treats for everything, but food is...
You don't use them for anything, lady. I can already tell. And if you used a cookie or a treat, as they always like to say, I'm not a cookie person, blah, blah, blah. You wouldn't even have, this dog would be, you could give him one cookie this entire time, and he'd be sitting there, perfectly nice, like he's doing now. And you can get 10 times the amount of behavior and less stress and less confusion than you have to worry about a perfectly timed correction or hiding the collar and sneaking up on the dog and fighting him just to put a collar on him. This woman's going to have them spend 10 minutes to put a damn collar on the dog. Versus if he just had a regular flat buckle collar, didn't hurt him. He comes for, you can call him to you, give him a treat, put the leash on, then he knows the leash means good things, not bad things, and you can go out for a walk.
Just like everything else I use. And so there is nothing wrong with having that. I want the dog to comply out of respect.
He's not going to comply out of respect. Respect is earned, not forced. I mean, in the animal world, yeah. I mean, it's a little different, but he's complying, which I don't want. I don't like that kind of talking, like when she says, I want him to comply. I don't care personally if a dog complies with me or not. I don't ever ask a client's dog to sit down or anything like that unless we're specifically teaching those behaviors. I don't just take the leash and start moving them around. I work on the behaviors the owner wants to work on. I don't ask a dog for sit before cookie, sit before a pet, sit before whatever, constant eye contact. I don't expect them to do that. If the owner asks for that, then I can show them how to improve that behavior with their dog if they're having trouble with it. But I don't ever require compliance. If you think about the language she uses, compliance, it's pain compliance. You're a drill sergeant, you're militant, you're in control, you're like Beckman, you're over controlling, you're like Jeff Gelman. You're even Will Atherton, you're so controlling.
Bottom line, okay? Out of respect for you as leadership, this is pack order.
No, it is not pack order. Dogs are not pack animals. You can go and check out my video. I'm going to be on here too long if I rant and tell you why. So if you want to go see that video, it will be linked in the description below. Pack theory, alpha theory, whatever I called it. Dogs are not pack animals, and you most certainly are not a pack animal because you are not even related to this dog. You're not the same species, and that'll make more sense when you watch that video. A quick synopsis of it are wolves are a family. A pack of wolves is a family, like a school of fish or a pod of whales, killer whales. So the alphas are the mating pair, and the rest are their offspring. So you're not alpha of squat. They're not alpha of squat. It's not a pack because you have different species. Even multiple dogs in the same home are not a pack because they're strangers. They don't work that way.
You've got to be the pack leader.
No, you don't. You're an idiot.
Okay?
And you're spreading lies and misinformation and just dumb shit.
People think they are and they're not.
Because you're not. Lady, I hate to break it to you. You're not pack leader of squat. Neither are they. You never will be able to. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. And, you have control issues. But no, you're not pack leader of diddly squat.
But you could, when you go to do that, if you wanted to, you could even bring food into it.
Yeah, because when your way fails, they're going to have to do that. Because they will have to pair it with that. Otherwise, they're going to be chasing their dog all day long. They're never going to be able to get their dog out.
Food is affection. If he has a calm brain with food.
Food is affection. Actually, just mumbo jumbos all this baloney. Food is affection. Food is a reward. It's a conditioned reward. Or an unconditioned reward. Look, dogs, it's something natural. They have to eat. If a dog doesn't want to take food, they're over threshold, they're sick, or they're dead. Okay, if paired with a calm brain, what she means is, if you feed them when they're calm, then yes, you reward that behavior. Go figure. If they're excited and they happen to take the food, then they may, over time, pair that with, excitement.
Now, I don't do that. Honestly, that's not a thing I do. But if
Of course not, because she likes to struggle. She likes the power struggle. I don't know. Again, control issues. Yeah, you could do that, make your life so much easier, make your people's life so much easier, and most of all, make the dog's life easier. This whole time, again, he's been sitting behind Dad. He's panting. I don't see water out here for him. I know we're only here for 5 minutes, but not a single good boy, not a single pet, not a single reward. She only works for, punishment and negative reinforcement are reinforcing, or in other words, rewarding for her and the people she teaches.
Aggressive dog? You're darn right I become the cookie lady for a while.
Oh, yeah, because you know you can't use force on an aggressive dog, because that dog will tear you up. So you're smart enough to know that. She has at least 2 brain cells to rub together for that.
Because then it's going to redirect their brain, change it for them until I can create leadership and control, and eventually we can get away from it.
Oh, okay, lovely. So then once you get enough trust and you're able to put the collar on them, then you can start abusing them and hurting them and scaring them, and you don't have to use food anymore. Okay, great.
Food is just a tool, but you'll never have the reliable formal obedience that I'm talking about using food as a tool.
Absolutely you will. She's a liar. She's an idiot. She doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. She cannot get that reliability. Who cares about obedience? But, you know, there's dogs in rally. There's dogs in Schutzen. There's dogs in, you know, police canines, search and rescue, you know, walking guide dogs that have been trained completely on positive reinforcement, never using a prong collar, choke collar, shock collar, e-collar, star mark collar, citronella collar, no, you know, whips, no corrections, no pops, no jerks, no leadership, no alpha, no anything. Only just by using positive reinforcement. And yes, occasionally there's going to be, you know, some kind of punishment that the dog doesn't get the reward, you know, because people aren't perfect. But the dog doesn't see it nearly as much as it would with a prong collar. So this tells me they're none so blind as those who refuse to see. In the land of the blind, she is king. The man with one eye is king. In the land of the blind, these people don't know what's going on. She has some kind of way to get success. She's the man with one eye. He's king. Or queen, whatever you want to say.
All by itself. Okay?
For today's rough recap, anytime you're putting a collar or a leash or any type of equipment on your dog, make sure that your dog is in a calm mindset as you're preparing to do this and while you're doing this.
So she wanted to wait until he was sitting before petting him. I would have been fine petting him while he was standing. I didn't see a big deal with that. I also didn't see a big deal with her waiting for him to sit, but she kind of tried to
ensure
pop there, but it didn't really connect.
You have to follow through, and as an example, put them in a sit position. Make sure you're
No, not put them, force them. He's trying to hide by Dad. He says, get me away from this crazy lady. She's going to pop me. Ouch, it hurts. This dog is so smart. He says, get me away from this crazy lady.
Dogs
Ouch,
learn
poor
that
thing.
each mindset leads to the next thing that they want to do. You have to make sure you're imprinting what you want, which is everything comes through me as a leader and being...
So she's telling you what you want to imprint. She's telling you what you want to think, what you should be thinking, not your own thoughts. What do you want? I don't know what these people want for their dog, but she's going to say, no, I'm going to tell you what I want. And I see these crates in the back of these cars. I really don't like when people have dogs in a crate in the back of a truck. One, they're in the sun. Two, they're the plastic type. I mean, I don't like any crate, but there's less ventilation. They're hot in the sun. It's noisy as hell. I don't care if they're driving 25 miles. I mean, I guess it's not so bad, but but I see people going on the dang freeway at 60 miles an hour or 70 or 80. I mean, yes, it's safer than having the dogs in the back anyway, but I think about the animals. If you have room in the cab, put them in the cab. Otherwise, you ride in the back in a little box like this and see how you feel about it.
Calm gets you to your next thing.
So he's just exhausted, he's tired.
You stay calm and assertive and make sure that you win. And you're going to set yourself up for great
For failure. And no bond with your dog.
In the future with your dog.
No, you're just a dummy. So that's thanks for the suggestion for that. This lady, I mean, I knew hearing her name that she was going to be a dummy, but hey, go figure. If it walks and what is it? If it walks and quacks like a duck, it's probably not a chicken or a squirrel. It's a duck. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you learned something from it. Thank you so much to the very nice supportive recent comments. I'm so glad that people are able to kind of catch on more to what trainers are really saying. They may say one thing, but they do another. So I'm really glad that I can open any kind of eyes to that, or just kind of even if nobody ever follows me, or nobody you don't have to like me at all. I'm just glad that I can give that little bit of advice to people to just keep an eye out for, what people are really saying, read between the lines a little bit more. So thanks again, everybody. Go give your little critter some kind of lovin'. Say howdy do for me. And until next time, stay positive.